Mabuhay! Welcome back to our channel again, friends. This is going to be the first episode of our Learn with Daryll podcast, and today we're joined by one of my friends here in Madrid. She's actually working as an auxiliar, but right now she's also doing other stuff. So later on, let's see if she's gonna share something with us. But for today's topic, it's going to be about how to budget your money if you are a language assistant in Spain. So, without further ado, let's welcome our very first guest for today, Miss Ivy.
Yay!
Hi, Ivy. Kamusta?
Hello! Okay naman. Hello Daryl, and to all of the supporters ng channel mo.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. So, Ivy, can you please tell everyone what you do in Spain and
Mhm.
how were you able um to do the auxiliary program, things related to that.
Okay, so I'm an auxiliar currently. Well, I'm here in Madrid just for a vacation, for a holiday.
Mm.
But I've been working as an auxiliar de conversation for 3 years already. So I've worked in Valencia, well, Comunidad Valenciana, in Castilla Leon, and in Galicia. So yeah.
Oh, okay. And how's that experience for you?
It was really good because like I really chose to like move from one place to another, and also avoiding Madrid then kasi I'm avoiding Madrid at all costs. So Valencia, Salamanca, well, Valencia, Salamanca, and Galicia. So those were my three regions.
Very
Mhm.
nature at malayo
Very nature,
sa
very cheaper than Madrid. So that's
cheaper than
actually my
Madrid.
first consideration when I chose these regions.
Ah, okay.
Mhm.
So coming from someone who likes nature, I think people could also relate because probably right now some of the applicants from our country, they are thinking of these cities that you've mentioned.
Mhm.
So before ka ba nagpunta dito, yun ba yung isinaalang-alang mo? Like are those the things that you considered before applying?
Actually, when I first arrived here in Spain, I went through the Valencian program. So that was
Ah,
like 1,000 euros per month.
mhm,
So like by accident, actually, yung pagkakakuha ko dun sa Valencia. And
mhm,
then I didn't know that in the other regions it's just 700 euros. So I was
mhm.
like, okay, so 1,000 euros, I can make like I can budget that
Mm.
properly. So
Was it
yeah.
correct? Ivy, correct me if I'm wrong. Was it the time when Valencia opened to Filipinos as auxiliar?
But no, like even before that, like even before Valencia had their own program, I think the ministry program as a whole already was giving Filipinos for the program itself for all of Spain. It's just that
Okay.
Valencia suddenly cut off its program with the ministry and then started its own program. And
Mm.
then parang they had this massive hiring uh which is not included in the Profex. So they just like got as many applicants as they can from the Philippines. So that was the batch that I was able to get into.
What year was that again? I remember
2018. No,
2018.
2017. Yeah, 2017, 2018.
Yeah,
But we
2 years.
started January 2018 because it was in
Mm.
the middle of it was in the middle of the processing for the 2017-2018 school year.
Mhm.
And by that time, sarado na yung Profex. So,
Totoo.
hindi na pwede mag-apply from the Profex. So, ang ginawa is massive hiring. So, paper-based
True.
lahat. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Kasi sobrang hinasel nila, sobrang madalian yung pag-hiring. Mass hiring yung ginawa nila.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's good because I think, well, when it comes to like the budget, I think, could you tell us something more about like how they pay you? I think it's quite delayed, no?
Yeah, well, parang this year daw, nag-improve na. Pero yung my first 2 years in Valencia, it was just terrible. Like 3 months kaming walang sahod.
Mm-hmm.
Parang on the third month namin nakukuha sahod. Parang yung first time ko that I was in Valencia, parang we started January, we got our payment March. That was like the
Grabe.
first, yeah. Pero
Mhm.
ano na siya, parang pagkatanggap namin is
Full.
parang 2,000 na yata yung natanggap namin or 3,000 kaagad. But
Mhm.
still, you waited 3 months for your, no, 2,000 lang kasi yung March natanggap namin ng April.
Okay.
So yeah, it's 2,000, but you kind of didn't expect that you're gonna get your payment in the third month. Yeah.
Okay. So ganun pala siya.
Hmm.
So was it like difficult for you to handle your finances in Valencia, or because it's 1,000, obviously you can do a lot of things, no?
Mm-mm.
And
It
it's
was
cheaper.
difficult. It was difficult kasi parang hindi mo alam kung kailan ka sasahod. Pero kasi parang kailangan mong pakiusapan yung landlady mo na kung pwede bang iurong yung date ng bayad kasi hindi ka pa binabayaran ng gobyerno, yung ganon. And then
Totoo.
like I had a buffer din naman from my Philippine bank account.
Mhm.
And yung buffer ko na kinuha ko na pera from my bank account na dinala ko dito sa Spain at the time. Pero
Mhm.
medyo hindi mahirap yung budget eh. Yung mahirap yung anxiety na kailan ka sasahod.
Mm.
Supposedly you are to receive money parang on the 5th, on the 5th, on the 5th. And
True.
then it doesn't happen. It never happened.
Mhm.
Na on the 5th, parang kailan ka tatanggap ng pera. Lagi kang kinakabahan kung matatanggap mo yung pera.
Mhm.
So yun yung mahirap
So
more
what's your
than the
advice
budgeting.
for someone na nag-apply, for example, Valencia? How much do you think they
How
need?
have 3,000 euros in your bank account na pang-buffer while waiting for your sahod.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
sabi naman nila okay na daw, hindi na daw late magpasahod.
Yeah,
But just have the 3,000 na pang-buffer. If
true. How much yun sa
especially if
peso,
you
if they don't know?
612
3,000.
around 180,000 pesos.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
in case something happens, no?
Yeah. Just in case something happens and just in case you don't have private classes. Kasi you have to consider that, okay, ang dami kasing nagsasabi na, hey, you could get like private classes.
True.
You could get, the thing is that there are some auxiliaries that will be placed in far-flung provinces, far-flung barrios, far-flung pueblos na wala masyadong private classes.
Mhm.
Or kung wala man masyadong private classes, babaratin yung presyo ng private class na rate. So,
Totoo.
hindi mo din masyadong maaasahan masyado yung private classes. Because but by the time that I was in Valencia, actually, I didn't have any private classes. So, I was
Mhm.
fully dependent on my buffer cash and the salary.
Mhm.
So, ayun, kailangan siyang i-consider na you cannot judge other people for not having private classes. You cannot judge them for that because usually like your circumstances nila, yung place kung saan sila assigned, walang gustong kumuha ng private classes. Or kung
Totoo.
meron man, pa isa, dalawa lang.
Yeah. But for
And would
those,
that be enough? Would that be enough to cover your rent? That would be enough to cover your groceries. But how about
Mhm.
your rent? So pakiusapan mo yung landlady mo or
True.
landlord mo, di ba? So
For
yeah.
those who don't know what Pueblo is, so it's basically, I think Ivy is mentioning that in Pueblo, yung mga small towns, ito yung mga wala karamihang mga clients, kumbaga, na may balak mag-private classes sa English kasi hindi ganun kalaki yung income nila. Tama ba? Ganun yung usually. So, hindi siya
Yes.
sa katulad sa mga big cities na people have money to invest in their child's education. Ganyan. So, private classes. So, Ivy said, of all those cities that you have been, which one for you is the least expensive?
The least expensive is Galicia. I was assigned in Santiago de Compostela. And Galicia, out of those three, like Alicante, Salamanca, and Santiago de Compostela is the cheapest one.
Mm-hmm.
And among those three regions, what they call this, Comunidad Valenciana, Castilla y Leon, and Galicia as a region is also the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
So in general, Galicia is the cheapest.
And then you get to earn like 900, I think.
935 euros for 16 hours work week.
How about the rent normally? Ano yung
Uh,
range ng mga rent doon?
okay, so when I was in Alicante, I was in a home share with a landlady.
Mhm.
So basically, I was living with the landlady, and
Mhm.
that was like 250 euros all in na yon.
250
Which is
lang.
and ang ganda ang as in ang comfortable nung bahay tas dalawa lang kami.
Mhm.
Tapos in Salamanca, it was a student flat situation kasi Salamanca is a university city. So 160 euros
Oh, that's
plus
nice.
25 euros gastos
Mhm.
plus 10 euros for the internet. So sabihin mo mga almost 200 per month yung binabayad ko for the rent. Tapos, it's the same in Santiago de Compostela. I was paying 170 euros for the room itself, pero yung
Mhm.
gastos, umaabot kami ng around 40 euros per month. So, 210. So, ganun lang siya.
Mm.
So, you have to remember that these are all flat shares. So, may mga roommates ako, which I hate
Oh, din.
because I'm already at that age wherein I'm old. I'm too old to be rooming with other people. But what can you do? Diba? You only have this salary.
Yeah, that's true as
Yeah.
well. I mean, money-wise, you get to, like, I think, not spend a lot, but also at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, well, you have people that you don't know sharing all these
Yeah.
things with you. So I think that's the hassle
Yeah.
part.
Okay lang. Correct. Okay lang siya. It's just that like in what I've always experienced is that in a roommate situation, there's always this one person that will make everything so weird.
Hmm.
Laging may isang panira. So parang ano ba? Kailan ako magkakaroon ng boarding situation na walang weird na tao? Yung ganon.
Totoo. Yeah. So I think everyone, we we just have this idea of, like having like a place in the future without sharing it with anyone.
Exactly.
So I think, yeah, that's the goal.
That's the
So
dream, yes.
So how about when it comes to, let's go deeper into budgeting, Ivy? Like
Okay.
how do you go like about spending money and saving? And I remember every time you tell me about the emergency fund and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Like how are you able to manage to make sure that you have all these things? Ano yung parang ginagamit mo? Meron ka bang notebook lang, or ikaw ba yung mag-Google Docs, Google Sheets, mga ganyan?
Google, ayun, actually, mag-Google Sheets talaga ako.
Mm.
Google Sheets forever. Team Google Sheets ako. So,
Okay.
parang, okay, so Google Sheets ko. So, meron ako dito na nilalagay ko yung, ano yung sources of income ko for that month. At tas ano yung total.
Mm.
Tapos, naka-itemize yung mga, ano ko, expenses ko from week 1 to week 4. Tapos,
Okay.
naka-separate siya between grocery and non-grocery expenses.
Mm.
Tapos, parang every time na sumasahod ako, parang nililista ko na ito yung pang-rent, ito yung pang-emergency fund, ito yung pang-grocery, ito yung mga tak. Ito yung mga financial goals ko.
Mhm.
Pati yung ultimo yung pan-load ng Simyo, yung pan-load ng cellphone,
Yeah,
nilalagay ko siya doon para natatrack ko kung saan pumupunta yung pera ko.
totoo.
So, okay siya, oo. At
Mhm.
saka, another thing is, tingnan niyo yung bank accounts niyo araw-araw para hindi kayo nagugulat bakit merong charge bigla.
Mhm.
So, ayan. So, ayun, that's how I do it. Parang ina-itemize ko lahat ng projected ko na gastos for that month.
Mhm.
Tapos, yun lang dapat yung budget ko. So, say, for example, grocery is 100 euros. That hindi ako lalagpas doon. Yun lang talaga dapat yun.
Yeah.
Ayun.
I think like I should do the same. I think like sometimes I just pull out money every time I need or I want to buy something. So I think
Mm-mm.
it's better to, like what you're saying, itemize and
Mm-mm.
also have a Google Sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, minsan talaga mahirap kasi parang, like for me, actually, I'm not really good at budgeting. Like I don't spend that much, but I feel like I do because I'm not able to track. I think,
No, hindi mo kasi nata-track. Okay.
yeah, I think I need to track more these days
Mm-hmm.
because, yeah, if not, the next thing you know, like you have spent a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
from buying, I don't know, whatever,
Mm-mm.
like biscuits or chocolates
Mm-mm.
or even
Yung,
those things, you know?
kasi yung kaliit-liitan na Coke na binili mo sa vending machine, kailangan itemize mo siya para kasi
Uh,
yung for example 80 cents 80 cents 80 cents. Akala mo maliit lang siya, pero
mm-hmm,
dahil hindi mo siya tinatrack, hindi mo nakikita na lumalaki yung gastos mo.
mm-hmm,
So it's really helpful that you always like take note of the things that you actually spend on.
mm-hmm.
So yun. Also keep all of the receipts, especially if you are using the cash. Keep your
Yeah,
receipts and then record it every day. Be very or every week kung di mo kung di
true.
medyo tinatamad ka, pero every day yun yung nakuha kong attitude from one of my auxiliary friends then na she's now in the US studying.
Mm-hmm,
Every day parang she gets all of the receipts that she got for that day, and then she will list it down para makita niya kung if she's still within budget. So ayun, yun yung ginagawa niya. That is because she's using cash.
mm-hmm.
It's easier to track. It's easier to do that. It's easier to track if you're using debit card or credit card or debit card. Yeah, it's easier to do that kasi kita mo kung saan napupunta yung gastos mo. So you can enter that in your Google Sheets then. So yun.
Mm, okay.
I'm a Google Sheets girl, basically.
I wish I started earlier, to be honest. Like, I think I've been like just spending money without listing everything. So sometimes I ended up like, where did my money go?
Mm-hmm.
Even if I know that it went to like something important, but you know, like I think it's good to know that, you know, like for grocery, I should cut a little bit. Or, yeah, kung mahilig ka sa pagkain o malabas ka, kumain, ganyan, di ba?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important. And are you a fan of like applications for budgeting or no? Like
No, kasi
did
may
you find
Google
it?
Sheets na eh. Pero it
Mm,
actually depends on the person. But when I was back in the Philippines, I was using an app. I just forgot what the app is called. But then it's not, I don't know, it's not really effective kasi niloloko ko lang yung sarili ko.
mhm.
Ganun siya. So hindi ko matandaan kung ano yung app na yun. But I was using an app before. I just stopped using it. And then I just went to Google Sheets. Like, instead of, ang ginagawa ko kasi noon, parang, ito, 5,000 pesos, ganto. 3,000 pesos, ganto. Pero hindi ko ina-itemize. Hindi ko tinatrack yung expenses ko. So, ang nangyayari, umu-over ako dun sa budget ko. So, walang silbi yung app.
Yeah.
So, even if actually very useful yung app. So ang ginawa ko ngayon dito sa Google Sheets, parang in-itemize ko siya na ito yung mga gagastusin ko, projected na gastos ko for this month. Pero at the same time, tinatrack ko din kung ano yung ginagastos ko.
Mhm.
Ayun. Yun yung mali
Yeah.
ko nung nasa Philippines pa ako. Hindi ko tinatrack kung saan napupunta yung pera ko. Mayroon lang ako na set budget.
I think it's also, yeah. Now reflecting on what you said, I think it's also one of my mistakes when it comes to budgeting. Like
Mhm.
I know that I use my card every time, but I don't really track it. Like, oh, I spent too
Mhm.
much for this month because I just knew that I wanted this and that, but I didn't really track everything.
Mhm.
So yeah, since, well, I'm gonna start doing it now.
Yeah.
I think
Kasi
it's really
naiipon siya
good.
eh. Pati
Totoo.
yung kaliit-liitang, for example, 1 euro and 25 na kape na binili mo eh. Kung araw-araw ka nagkakape, di naiipon siya na naiipon. So, kailangan
Mhm.
tinatrack mo siya. Ayun.
Mhm.
Pero depende siya sa style ng tao. Ako kasi mas nagwo-work sa akin yung ina-itemize ko kung magkano yung nagagastos ko.
Yeah, true as well. Iba-iba rin ang mga techniques, I
Mm-mm.
guess. Yeah. But
Mhm.
like for like Google Sheets, right? So you download Google Sheets app for you to do
Yeah,
that?
yung ano lang,
Because
yung
you're
dito
not
lang sa
always with
may,
your laptop.
ang ginagawa ko is, hindi ko siya ina-app kasi naiinis ako kapag nasa phone ko ginagawa. As in,
Yeah, no?
iipot
Parang ano
kapag
siya, liit.
umuupo ako daily, parang ritual ko siya na every day or at least parang
Oh, that's nice.
every other day, uupo ako, asan lahat ng resibo ko or uupo ako, titingnan ko yung debit card ko for that day. Tapos i-itemize ko na yan na ito yung nagastos ko for this day, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. O ito yung resibo, ito yung nagastos ko for this day, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, Ivy.
Mhm.
I wish I started that earlier, to be honest. I felt like most of my money like just flew away. Like
Mhm. Kaya nga, yung feeling mo na alam mo na hindi ka naman gumastos ng malaki, pero yung feeling mo na parang lumipad lahat ng pera mo kasi hindi mo alam kung saan pumunta yung pera mo.
true.
So, ayan siya.
That's what I feel sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's why I need to do that as well regularly. When you
Mhm.
know, like sometimes you're tired and you don't check
Mhm.
it
Totoo,
anymore. Because you
oo.
feel like
Mhm.
also during the day, like I didn't do anything or spend on anything.
Totoo, totoo.
But that's a good habit as well
Mhm.
to have.
Every day or every other day. Ako nga parang weekly ko na lang ginagawa siya actually to be very fair.
Totoo.
Kasi
Because
itong
you have it
some
in your mind na, ay, ito lang to,
mhm.
ganito. Every week
Mhm.
ganito. I should start doing that as well and also to cut on my budget, lalo na sa mga pagkain. Minsan parang dami kong binibiling food na hindi naman kailangan
Mm.
or hindi naman healthy. Well, pero
Okay.
sometimes kailangan mo din, di ba, para sa palate
Mhm.
mo.
Oo.
So yeah,
Another way to, for
Mhm.
example, with the food, uh, during the school year, what I do is I meal prep. So
Yeah, we also
parang
do remember pag
pag
meal prep.
Sunday, no, not Sunday. No, Friday or Saturday, pinaplan ko kung ano yung uulamin ko ng next week. Tapos Saturday, Sunday, mamimili ko. So either Saturday or Sunday, nagmi-meal prep ako.
Mhm.
Tapos, ayun. So, madali na siya. Tapos, pa-microwave na lang ng pa-microwave. Para, alam mo, pagpasok mo ng supermarket, alam mo kung ano yung bibilhin mo at wala kang bibilhin na hindi kailangan para doon sa meal prep mo for that week.
Totoo din.
Mhm.
Like you already have your recipe in mind before going there.
Mhm.
Because sometimes you go
Mhm.
there and you think about like, oh, what am I gonna eat, diba?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
ngayon ako rin, medyo ganyan na din ako.
Mhm.
So like we talk about apps and we talked about
Mhm.
budgeting and stuff,
Mhm.
but also it influences the fact that you live in a specific city, as we
Mhm.
were saying a while ago. And obviously in some cities are more expensive, but also they get paid more and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But yeah, I think more than anything, it's how you budget it
Mhm.
wherever you are, diba?
Mhm.
So my next question is like, what's your biggest failure in budgeting? Was there any moment that you failed? Because sometimes it happens, no? Like, oh, I bought this, or recently, or this
Ano,
year, may ganun ba?
not not really this year. Traveling. There was this one time, 2019, right before the pandemic.
Uh-huh.
Hinintay namin yung Black Friday.
Uh-huh.
Hindi siya nangyari, hindi siya totoo. So tumaas ng presyo ng
Ticket.
tickets. So
Ah,
pikit mata binili na lang namin yung mahal na ticket. Tapos instead of
because
going to 3 cities, we just cut it to 1 city kasi ang mahal ng ticket. Tapos imbes na buuin namin yung buong Christmas holidays, parang 1 week lang kami. So yan, that for me was like sobrang sayang yung binili namin ng ticket. Kasi you could have bought that ticket for what? 20 euros nung
mahal.
hindi pa peak. Nung peak na 100 euros na siya.
Yeah, and obviously
So, parang,
that's just
that was
yeah, kalaban
annoying.
mo rin kasi yung time eh. And you're exchanging
Mhm.
literally money
Mhm.
with time kasi
Mhm.
you could have bought it earlier, but since you
Mhm.
failed and stuff, yeah. So I think time and money like always go hand in hand naman talaga.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah. So what's your advice would you give to someone who like we already talked about um like those aspiring auxiliaries who want to go
Mhm.
here. When it comes to their finances, do you have any other tips aside from Google Sheets and stuff? Do you have any hacks or anything that you wanna share with us? Because obviously these are the things that we can find on YouTube.
Hack ba yung wala kang friends?
Ayun, I think we talked about it a while ago. Bakit
Yeah.
feeling mo pag walang friends?
Wala kang friends kasi nasa bahay ka lang, ganon. Hindi,
Feeling ko
actually
din,
kasi,
feeling ko,
oo, di ba? Parang instead of asking people to hang out outside, hey, like, let's get out, let's have some drinks outside. Invite your friends. Invite your friends to your house and host them, like, for coffee or tea.
yeah.
Tapos, kanya-kanyang dala ng kanya-kanyang dala ng biscuit. Kanya-kanyang dala ng pagkain, tapos ikaw na mag-provide ng kape or tea. So,
O, di ba
instead of
ganyan
going
ginagawa
out,
natin usually? Or like,
yeah,
I have lunch here, ganyan, luto na lang ako, ganyan.
oo. Have lunch, dala ako dyan sa inyo or magdadala ako ng ice cream dyan sa inyo. So, instead of going out, di ba?
Yeah, because it's more expensive to go out every time. But obviously, like there are times that you would want also to spend time with your friends outside. Do you also allot budget for that?
I
Di ba?
actually have, yun yung
Especially
actually
kung
na,
close kayo, di ba?
yun yung actually bago kong, what do you
Bago
call
mo
this?
budgeting, ano.
Anong tawag mo dyan? Expense na nilalagay ko sa Google Sheets ko.
Yeah.
Okay, ito, budget for having fun. Tapos ito
True.
yung amount. Tapos every month yun. So that you won't feel guilty na humihila ka sa pera mo sa ibang bagay. At least meron ka specific na amount na nakalaan siya talaga para
Category, no?
going out with friends.
Yeah.
Going out with friends, having drink with friends, yung ganun. Actually, hindi ko siya nilagay dito. Lagay ko na siya. Gala
That is true.
money with friends.
That is
Hindi ko
true
siya
as
nilagay.
well.
Oo. Ayun.
So, yeah, so I think those tips are really good. I think that anyone who's watching this right now, even if they're not auxiliary, would really apply those tips that you have mentioned. Yeah, aside from those things, do you have any like resources that you like you have in terms of budgeting, or yun na yun, yung mga hacks ka pa ba?
Actually, I just listen to, no, not really listen to podcasts. Like watch YouTube videos, ng mga personal finance videos. So I started it, ang pinapanood ko ngayon actually is The Financial Diet. It's on YouTube. Tapos lahat ng alam ko about meal prepping, lahat ng alam ko about what they call this, emergency funds, doon ko siya unang nalaman.
Financial diet. Okay.
So yeah, financial diet. And then there's another channel that I usually watch then, One Big Happy Life. So, pero it's also like personal finance, pero kasi may blogs or meron silang mga videos about their personal journey, ganyan. True. But it's mostly, when I started watching them, they also do like financial topics, like how to invest, how to build your emergency fund, ganyan, how to save up for non-emergency fund. I forgot what they call it. The concept is a non-emergency fund. What they call it? Sinking funds. So ganun siya. Sinking funds. Yeah. Sinking funds. It's essentially a non-emergency fund. So ang example niya is say you have a laptop. Gumagana yung laptop mo. Pero alam mo that in the future masisira yung laptop mo. So ang gagawin mo, you will build a sinking fund para pag nasira ang meron kang pera.
Pala yung tawag doon.
Oo,
para siyang iPhone na nag-change ka, ganon, ng model dahil feeling mo in the future di mo na siya bet. Ganon ba yon? Or it has something to do talaga sa pagkasira lang na isang bagay na kailangang palitan.
Essentially kasi parang you have to like wear down. Ang nasa isip ko kasi whenever you have gadgets, you need to wear them down before mo palitan.
Okay.
It's another budget hack na kung itong phone ko gusto ko na siyang palitan, gusto ko na mag-update pero hindi pa siya sira. So, hindi ko siya papalitan. Pero
Mm.
iniipunan ko din siya just in
Just
case
in
talaga
case.
mawasak na lang siya talaga. So,
Mm.
nag-iipon ako may 10 euros per month.
True.
Sinking fund para may pamalit siya just in case masira siya or kung halimbawang gusto ko nang mag-upgrade talaga, nakatingkati na ako mag-upgrade, at least may pera akong upgrade sa kanya na hindi masisira yung buong budget ko for that month. So,
Mm.
ayun.
Okay, that's really nice to know.
Mhm.
But I think most of our listeners right now, or our friends who are watching this right now are curious. Kaya ba ang sweldo ng isang auxiliar na mag-survive sa Spain? Like how would you respond to them? Kaya naman, di
Okay.
ba?
So, okay, I'm going to answer this from the perspective of the IV who was in Alicante 3.5 years ago.
True.
Kaya siya, kaya
Mhm.
yung 1,000 euros per month. You have to
Mhm.
remember that when I was earning that 1,000 euros per month, wala akong private classes. Kaya siya. But, the thing is that, dito papasok yung parang privilege.
Mhm.
Kasi I don't send money back home at the time. I didn't send money back home in the Philippines.
Ah.
Kasi meron na akong, before ako dumating dito sa Spain, meron na akong pera na iniwan sa family ko na trust fund, na may iniwan akong isang ATM sa kanila na andun lahat yung pera ko from one of my rackets back in the Philippines. Nasabi ko sa kanila, ito may pera to, ito withdrawin nyo pag kailangan nyo ng pera. Kasi hindi ako magpapadala because scholarship lang yung natatanggap ko. So,
Totoo.
doon pumapasok yung privilege ko. Kaya siya. Kaya yung 1,000 euros.
Yeah.
Pero kaya siya kung hindi ka nagpapadala sa Pilipinas.
Ako kasi, sure. Yeah. I mean, ako naman nagpapadala ako until now, pero hindi siya regularly, like hindi siya monthly.
Oo. Yun kasi yung sa ating kasi mga Filipinos,
And
expected na regularly magpapadala. Ako, never akong nagpadala kasi nga, they already have money there na galing din sa akin. Na again, it's salary from my previous jobs back home. Parang ipon ko na siya before sa
yeah.
Pilipinas.
And I think that's just also one of the hacks, I think, when it comes to like budgeting. Instead of budgeting what you already have, just what you have, I mean, you do side hustles, kagaya ng sinabi mo, di ba? Meron kang private classes, but before you didn't have one. So nung nag-change ka na ng city, meron ng private classes na with
Ayan,
you, di
okay.
ba?
Okay, so yeah, so that was kaya ba yung 1,000 euros na walang private classes? Yes, kaya siya. As long as wala kang pinapadalhan na pera sa Philippines.
Pinas, or hindi ka magastos
Sa
masyado.
hindi ka masyadong magastos.
Matravel.
I'm now looking from the perspective ng Salamanca. When I was in Salamanca in Galicia,
True.
kaya siya. Kasi when I was in Salamanca, I was only earning 700 euros. So, plus with the private classes, I imagine, kaya siya, and nakakapagpadala ka sa Philippines. Kaya siya. And then when I was in Galicia, I'm pretty sure if I am the breadwinner back in the Philippines, makakapagpadala pa rin ako. So, ganun. So, okay siya. Doable yung 1,000 euros plus private classes.
Totoo.
Okay siya to live here in Spain. Okay siya para makapagpadala ka back home sa Philippines.
Pero would you agree that in the end kasi, it's how you allot money for different things before you even spend, 'di ba? Kasi kung before you even spend that money that you have, kung inalot mo na siya sa payment ng rent, pagpapadala and everything, tapos what's left there, yun yung spend mo, 'di ba?
Actually,
Kung meron mang matira.
okay, so ang tip ko is, which I also just got from the financial channels that I've watched, bayaran mo muna yung sarili mo bago ka magpadala sa Pilipinas. Yun. Personally, hindi ako nagpapadala. Kasi I already told them I'm not gonna send anything. Yun yung financial tip. When you receive your salary, pay yourself first.
Mm.
Tapos at saka mo, ito si rent, ito yung padala ko kina mommy and daddy, ito yung sa phone, ito yung sa laptop, ito yung sa pan-travel. Ganun siya.
Mhm. That's so nice.
Mhm.
Marami tayong natutunan kay Ivy. So I think
Mm.
we have discussed everything that we
Yes.
needed for this topic. Like
Tinitingnan
I
ko lang yung mga tanong mo dito.
I'm so grateful
Oh, yeah.
for all the tips. Like you know what, Ivy, like we have been talking a lot for like for so long.
Actually, ilalagay ko rin yan. Actually, hindi ko ah, meron akong nilagay before na ito yung bayad ko sa sarili ko.
True.
Tapos tinanggal ko siya at one point. Sige, bayad ko sa sarili ko.
True.
Itemize ko yan. Bayad ko. Sahod ko sa sarili ko. Self-salary. Tawagin natin siyang self-salary.
Do you have your
Ayan.
own like Google Sheet doc or meron ka mga nakikitang mga template lang din online na pwede nilang
Hindi, ginawa ko lang
i-download?
siya.
Ginawa mo lang siya?
Ginawa ko lang siya, oo.
Hmm.
Tapos, ano lang, plus minus, ganun lang siya.
Oh my God. Well, Ivy, thank you so much for this opportunity. I think a lot of aspiring auxiliaries back home are going to be like
Inspired na
inspired. Also,
mag-budget.
yeah, and also I think what's the term for that? Like they're gonna be more cautious, I think, or when it comes to
Actually,
spending their money.
mas naging G na G ako mag-budget. Ngayon na nandito na tayo sa Spain. Kasi nung nasa Philippines kasi ako, wala naman akong pake. Parang ito lang yung gastos ko for this month. Tapos lagi siyang umo-over. Hindi ko siya ina-itemize kasi. Bakit? Kasi sa Philippines kasi, meron tayong social net ng family. Diba? Meron tayong mauutangan.
Yeah.
Dito kasi wala. Kung wala kang pera, wala kang mauutangan. Kasi lahat tayo, medyo tight din tayo lahat sa pera. So you need to manage your money properly.
Mm.
Kasi wala kang, una sa lahat, wala tayong seguridad sosyal. Pangalawa, hindi tayo hooked up sa public healthcare. Kasi nga, auxiliary tayo. Especially with the ministry auxiliaries, we're not hooked up sa seguridad sosyal. So, wala rin tayong public health.
True.
So, kaya mahirap. So, you really need to manage your money or else medyo tight. Magiging tight ka, especially in the summer. So, ayun.
Oh my God, we haven't talked about summer yet. Like, oh my God. As an auxiliary, we only work until June or May, di ba? Depende.
June or May, depende sa region
mo. And you don't have salary for like
3-4 months.
Oh my God, di ba? That's what I am in right now. Like, ang hirap niya.
I swear. Summer months are the bane of the auxiliaries.
True.
Oh my gosh.
I like the money that you have earned throughout the year, you ended up like spending it.
True.
During
Totoo siya.
Pambayad ng rent, di ba? Nakakaloka. So thank you so much, Ivy, for this opportunity. I think that our listeners and also our viewers like learned something from this talk. And we hope that also you're gonna be able to share some of your stories in the future. Because at the end of the day, like we all have short stories to share, especially that we are all living in Spain. So muchas gracias, Ivy, and see you next time.
Hey, bye.
Bye everyone. See you.